Everybody, welcome to my pretend at-home baking show where I'm going to go through how to make Amish cinnamon bread, and we're going to cut the recipe in half because a full recipe would make 2 loaves of bread and I just want to make one, so I have to cut my whole recipe in half. I also noticed that when I first gave you the directions, I forgot to add in an important part: add milk, flour, and baking soda. I realized that as I was getting my ingredients together and rereading over my directions that I was missing that important step. Okay, so first thing I do is I'm going to make sure I have the correct amount of my ingredients. For the original recipe, I would need a whole cup of butter, but for half of the recipe, I'm only going to need half a cup of butter. A half a cup of butter is actually a full stick of butter. So I'm going to pour that in. And make sure while you are doing the mixing, you have your oven preheated to 350 degrees. And then also, another thing that you could do right away is that you have to make sure that your pan is greased, either with butter or cooking spray, so that way that when you bake it, it will not stick to the pan, because it will be kind of messy and really hard to get out of the pan if you do not grease it. So I have my butter. Then it says I need to add my sugar. I originally needed 2 cups, and if I cut that in half, half of 2 is 1. So I have pre-measured 1 cup of sugar. Pour that in. Okay, then it said I needed 2 eggs. Half of 2 is 1. So I just need to put in 1 egg. And then I needed to cream these ingredients together first, and then just kind of put it on low. I'm going to let those get ready. And then I'm going to, after that, I'm going to add my milk, my flour, and my baking soda. So it says I need 2 cups of buttermilk. I didn't have buttermilk at home, so they said to make your own buttermilk, you just need to add a little vinegar. I did have vinegar because we were using that for dyeing Easter eggs. So I changed it from 2 cups of milk to 1, and from 2 tablespoons of vinegar to 1 tablespoon. So I have 1 cup of milk and 1 tablespoon mixed together to make my buttermilk. Otherwise, you can use sour cream if you have that at home. I've heard other people try this recipe and use that, and they said it turned out great. All right. That looks pretty creamy. So now I can add my milk. And then it says 4 cups of flour. Half of 4 is 2. So I only wanted 2 cups of flour for this 1 loaf of bread. I'm going to pour in my flour. And it says 2 teaspoons of baking soda. I only need half of that, so that would be 1. And I just use measuring spoons and measuring cups when I was pre-measuring these out. And now I'm going to mix it again to make my batter. Go a little lower, otherwise I'm going to have flour all over the place. Then in a separate bowl, I'm supposed to be mixing cinnamon and sugar. So for the cinnamon sugar mixture, it said I needed 2/3 cups of sugar. Half of 2/3 is actually 1/3. So I did 1/3 of sugar and then 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, and I changed that to 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. So I have my mixture in there. I'm going to make this go a little quicker. Make sure it's nice and mixed. After that, when you do put it in the oven, it's going to take just under an hour. The recipe said 50 to 55 minutes. You're going to stick either a toothpick or a knife in there, and if you have any batter left on it, then you need to leave it in a little longer. So my next direction says that I want to put half of the batter into the greased loaf pan. All right, so I'm going to use this little spatula guide. Make sure I get all my batter out. That over there. So I'm going to do half. You just kind of have to look at it and decide what looks like half. creaming my cinnamon sugar mixture. It says to put 3/4 of that into the pan. So 3/4 is more than a half, so I'm going to try to just kind of eyeball that. So leaving about 1/4 left for sprinkling on the top when I'm all done. All right. Then I have to pour the remaining batter on top of the cinnamon sugar. That's going to be kind of my fun little middle layer of cinnamon and sugar. Tastes really good when you eat it. Okay, so I'm going to get all my batter out the best I can and spread that out. I'll spread that out on top. And then I'm going to pour the 4th cinnamon sugar that I have left right on top. Then it says to take a knife and kind of swirl it in there. Really kind of mix up that cinnamon sugar on the top, and it also makes it look pretty on top when you swirl it. Okay. All right. Now it looks ready for the oven. My oven's already been preheated because actually I have a loaf in there already. And if I look at my bake time, that loaf has about 20 minutes left. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in, and I'll know once the timer goes off at 20 minutes that this one is still going to have another 35 minutes. So then I'll set it to 35 minutes. So I had to do a little math there too. I had to know that 20 or 55 minus 20 minutes is going to be about 35 minutes that it will still have. I'm going to go ahead and slide this one down. I'm going to give you a peek at the one that I'm making right now, just so you can kind of see. And this one, it looks like it's getting done pretty quick, so it might not even need the full 20 minutes left. All right, so it's looking really nice. It's a little soft still, so it does still need some time in there. Just keep an eye on it and keep checking on it when it looks good. And like I said, when you can stick a toothpick or a knife all the way in and not have any batter come off on the knife or the toothpick, then you know your bread is probably done. Then you want it to cool, and then you can enjoy. All right, have fun.